AEW Dynamite draws 800,000 viewers on TBS with a 0.28 rating, meaning that WWE NXT defeated AEW in terms of total viewership this week, but Dynamite beats NXT in terms of the 18 to 49 demographic rating. Details on that, plus Adam Cole provides an update on the surgery that he requires on his ankle, revealing he requires not one, but two surgeries to fix his current injury. An update on the plans for Drew McIntyre and Matt Riddle prior to Riddle's release, reportedly with the team name being Riddle. Details on that, plus Brian Pillman Jr. is set to debut on NXT imminently. An update on the creative plans for him in WWE. An update on Sammy Guevara after he suffered an injury at Wrestle Dream. Several Raw stars are advertised for the SmackDown Go Home episode this week heading into Fastlane. And Hulk Hogan has made some bold claims today. We'll let you know if or not they're true and if he's lying once again. Hey guys, welcome back to Wrestling News 365. Hope everyone is doing very well. As always, there are plenty of news stories to get into in the world of professional wrestling. And let's start off talking about the ratings for this week's episode of AEW Dynamite on TBS. Of course, the last episode prior to next week's head-to-head. Of course, next week, Dynamite and NXT will be going head-to-head on Tuesday nights as Dynamite moves from its regular time slot on Wednesday from 1 week only, resuming the Wednesday night wars between AEW Dynamite and WWE NXT. And if this week's anything to go by, it looks like WWE may have some momentum, because according to WrestleNomics, AEW Dynamite on October 4 drew 800,000 viewers. This number is down from the 855,000 viewers the show drew last Wednesday. Now, Wednesday's episode posted a 0.28 rating in the 18 to 49 demographic, which is level with the rating the show posted on September 27. However, the audience in the key demographic was actually 1,000 viewers lower than last week, making this the lowest rating since June 28, when the rating was a 0.24. This was also the lowest total viewership since May 3rd per Sports TV ratings. An MLB wildcard game between the Miami Marlins and Philadelphia Phillies on ESPN drew 3.238 million viewers, so strong competition from sports head-to-head with Dynamite this week. Now, as far as some of the top 5 most viewed AEW Dynamite YouTube videos this week, the Rated R, Welcome to the Rated R era, Adam Copeland arrives on Dynamite, currently has around 1.7 million views. Actually, what happened after Dynamite went off the air, which was Adam Copeland spearing Luchasaurus, that's currently at around 650,000 views. After that, anything that wasn't involving Adam Copeland, i.e. Bullet Club Gold taking out the AEW World Champion MJF, is currently around 350,000 views. Wardlow's return to AEW Dynamite is currently at 183,000 views. The Golden Jets, that being Kenny Omega and Chris Jericho, taking on Konosuke Takeshita and Kyle Fletcher, is currently at just over 150,000 views as well. Now, as I mentioned, a lot of people are paying attention to the ratings this week ahead of next week's head-to-head episode, where AEW Dynamite will be moving to Tuesday, Title Tuesday, on Tony Khan's birthday, going head-to-head with WWE NXT for the first time in over a year, kind of resuming the Wednesday Night Wars for one night only. Of course, WWE have stacked the NXT episode featuring the likes of John Cena, Paul Heyman, Asuka, and Cody Rhodes. Of course, AEW Dynamite will be featuring the in-ring AEW debut of Adam Copeland. But for a bit of comparison this week, as I mentioned, here is the ratings for AEW Dynamite on TBS. So you can see it right there, courtesy of WrestleNomics. It's 800,000 viewers with a 0.28 rating in the 18 to 49 demographic. To compare this to NXT's numbers on USA Network, they had more viewers tuning in. You can see right there, 857,000 viewers, but they did have a lower 18 to 49 demographic rating, a 0.22 rating. So my question is, what do you think this means for next week? What are your predictions heading into next week's head-to-head show? Which show do you think will draw a higher total viewership? And which show do you think will do better in the 18 to 49 demographic? Could we see kind of a repeat of this with NXT drawing more viewers but a lower 18 to 49 rating? Or will we see AEW Dynamite defeat NXT in both categories? Or will we see NXT defeat AEW Dynamite in both categories? Let me know your thoughts about that, your predictions in the comments section below. Now, Adam Cole, he's out of action through injury. Some people still speculating about how legit the injury is. Well, according to Cole himself, it's very severe. So severe, in fact, he requires not one, but 2 surgeries. Now, a freak accident occurred during the closing moments of AEW Dynamite Grand Slam on September 20, when Adam Cole broke his ankle during the show's main event. Cole broke his ankle jumping off the ramp to save MJF during his AEW World Championship main event match against Samoa Joe, causing him to require surgery. Despite the injury, Cole has remained on AEW television, with MJF defending the Ring of Honor World Tag Team Championships against the Righteous in a handicap match at WrestleDream. Now, speaking on his Twitch stream today, Cole provided a big update on his current injury status, noting that he's going to need 2 surgeries, 8 screws, and a plate in his ankle. Here's what Adam Cole had to say about it. We can get his quotes up on the screen. He said, quote, "My ankle is broken. When it's all said and done, when I'm eventually able to get everything all fixed, I'm going to need to get 2 surgeries, and it will be a total of 8 screws and a plate in my ankle. So not ideal. It's incredibly painful. It's the most painful injury I've ever had." He continued by saying, quote, "Speaking to the doctors, it was just an absolute freak type of thing. No idea how it happened. I'm doing my best to stay as positive as I can. Obviously, this is soul crushing. It's really a bummer. If anything, it's more painful mentally and physically. It really hurts as well." So unfortunately, if Adam Cole is to be believed, and there's no reason to not to, even though it is pro wrestling, it looks like not only is he going to require 2 surgeries, 8 screws, and a plate in his ankle, but in addition to that, it looks like he's going to be on the shelf for a long time. So given what Adam Cole has said, what are your thoughts on where this storyline is going to go next? Can they drag this out for as long as Adam Cole is out with an ankle injury? Is MJF going to pivot to other storylines, such as the Jay White storyline that's seemingly going on AEW television right now, with that match set for the AEW World Championship? Where do you think this one is going? What are your thoughts? Let me know your thoughts in the comments section below. Now, this is quite an interesting story, this one, because Drew McIntyre and Matt Riddle were forming a tag team on WWE television, but then Matt Riddle ended up getting released by WWE. Of course, WWE held its latest round of talent cuts on September 21st, when numerous names from both the main roster and NXT were released from their contracts. Of the names, perhaps one of the most notable, if not the most notable, was Matt Riddle, who had been featured as one of WWE's more key names in recent years. Riddle's release came after the recent incident involving him at JFK Airport, which resulted in an investigation into his claims. Riddle was released a day prior to the rest, or the day after rather, to the rest of the talent on September 22nd, with those in the company claiming that he blew through too many chances while with the company. Prior to his release, Riddle was part of a tag team with Drew McIntyre on Raw, where they were in a rivalry with the New Day and the Viking Raiders. Many believe the alliance between Riddle and Drew was a means to an end for an eventual heel turn for Drew, which we are seeing play out on WWE television right now, but actually that may have not been the case. Per WrestleVotes, WWE had, quote, significant plans for the tag team known as, get ready for it, McRiddle, to the point where various merchandise items were created using the team name. WrestleVotes wrote on Twitter, X, saying, quote, prior to his departure from the company, I'm told there were significant plans for Matt Riddle, Drew McIntyre tag team, so much so, various merchandise items were designed with the team name McRiddle. This is not a joke. Now, McIntyre seemingly is currently in the middle of a slow burn heel turn on Raw, following the arrival of Jey Uso on the brand. What are your thoughts on the team name of McRiddle? Do you think this could have worked, or is this fortunate that this one isn't going to happen? Let me know your thoughts about that too. Speaking of creative plans for Brian Pillman Jr. may have been revealed, or actually not been revealed, because there might not be any right now. Former AEW star Brian Pillman Jr. is officially on his way to the NXT brand. Cryptic vignettes for the second generation star have been airing on recent episodes of NXT, showing Pillman watching an old-fashioned TV featuring the Cincinnati Bengals, old WCW programming, and clips of various second generation wrestlers. With Pillman's debut being teased on television, as well as USA Network posted an article about the signing of the former AEW star, many have speculated that Pillman could immediately be pushed into a big spot on the NXT brand. However, in an update from Nick Hausman of House of Wrestling, when asking if Pillman will be making his debut on next week's episode of NXT, set to go head-to-head with AEW Dynamite, the belief is that the brand has not discussed any real plans for Pillman beyond the ongoing, quote, buzzy vignettes. Of course, next week's episode is stacked with many top WWE stars, including John Cena, Cody Rhodes, and Asuka, as the show goes head-to-head with Adam Copeland, formerly known as Edge's in-ring debut for AEW against Luchasaurus on October 10. We've also got a bit of an update when it comes to Sammy Guevara. Of course, he was meant to compete last night on Dynamite, but it was later revealed that he was not medically cleared, and now we know why. Sammy Guevara was initially penciled in to be Konosuke Takeshita's partner against Chris Jericho and Kenny Omega on last night's episode of Dynamite from Stockton, California. However, Guevara was not medically cleared to perform, so Kyle Fletcher of Aussie Open took his place. According to Dave Meltzer, who was speaking on Wrestling Observer Radio, Guevara suffered a concussion on Sunday night at the inaugural AEW Wrestle Dream pay-per-view. Meltzer was unsure how much time Guevara would miss as a result of the injury. Guevara, who turned on Jericho after suffering a loss to the former AEW World Champion at the 3rd annual AEW Dynamite Grand Slam special on September 20, pinned his former buddy in a trios match at Wrestle Dream moments after the Ocho was struck with a baseball bat by Don Callis. Guevara was teaming up with his new Don Callis family associates, Takeshita, and reigning IWGP US Heavyweight Champion Will Ospreay against Jericho, Omega, and Kota Ibushi. As I mentioned on last night's episode of Dynamite, Callis announced that Guevara was not medically cleared to perform in his scheduled tag team match. He then introduced Fletcher as Takeshita's partner, with the pair going on to suffer a loss at the hands of Jericho and Omega. After the tag team bout, Callis distracted Jericho and Omega on the stage, while Powerhouse Hobbs entered the ring and attacked both men. Of course, Jericho versus Hobbs is now set for next week's episode of Dynamite on TBS. On this Friday's episode of SmackDown is the go-home show prior to Fastlane this weekend, and Friday's episode of SmackDown will serve as the final stop for Fastlane as it emanates from Indianapolis on Saturday. Despite WWE holding a draft earlier this year to implement another brand split, it appears several Raw stars are slated to be at Friday's taping in St. Louis. Cody Rhodes and Jey Uso have already been announced, while PW Insider reports that Alpha Academy's Chad Gable, Otis, and Maxine Dupree are all scheduled to be in attendance as well. While Rhodes and Uso are confirmed to appear on the broadcast itself, it remains to be seen if Alpha Academy will do the same or simply compete in a dark match, which has become common for certain Raw stars to do in recent months. WWE.com is advertising John Cena, Bobby Lashley, Jimmy Uso, LA Knight, Austin Theory, and Grayson Waller for the event. Meanwhile, St. Louis's Enterprise Center also lists AJ Styles, US Champion Rey Mysterio, Charlotte Flair, the Street Profits, Asuka, Io Sky, and Bayley. Since the Judgment Day holds the undisputed WWE Tag Team Championships, Finn Balor and Damian Priest will also appear on this week's SmackDown and will likely have one more confrontation with Rhodes and Uso prior to the event this coming weekend. Fastlane currently lists 3 matches from SmackDown, including Cena and Knight versus the Bloodline, Io Sky defending her Women's Championship against Asuka and Flair, plus the LWO versus Lashley and the Street Profits in a 6-man tag team bout. Of course, we will have a watch-along and a post-show for that this coming weekend. Finally, this is quite an interesting story when it comes to Hulk Hogan and his son, Nick. Over the past few months, Hulk Hogan hasn't been shy about indicating there was potential for him to appear at WrestleMania 39, claiming he was approached by Shane McMahon to potentially do a match. Now, he's taken it one step further recently, however, saying that his conversations with McMahon also led to discussions about his son, Nick Hogan, stepping into the ring to wrestle McMahon in what would have been the younger Hogan's first ever wrestling match. If that was the case, however, it's news to those in WWE. Fightful Select is reporting that there were no plans for Nick Hogan to be involved in any shape or form with WrestleMania 39. One higher up in WWE would not only go out of their way to categorically deny Hogan's claim, but revealed that Hogan's son had hardly, if ever, been brought up over the last decade and a half regarding any sort of role. This was despite attempts in the past by Hogan to pitch his son for certain angles, with WWE brass said to be uninterested in his involvement. While the Hogans were nowhere to be found at WrestleMania 39, McMahon was returning to promotion on the night 2 of the event after having been let go from WWE 1 year prior following the Royal Rumble in 2022. Accompanied by Snoop Dogg, McMahon would wrestle The Miz, unfortunately tearing his quadricep muscle mere seconds into the match, prompting Snoop Dogg to replace him and call an audible. McMahon hasn't appeared on WWE television since the injury, and it's unknown if and when he'll return ever. So there you go. So there you go, guys. That's the latest pro wrestling news for you. Be sure to smash the like on the like button. Be sure to subscribe, bottom right hand corner. As always, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, and I'll speak to you again very, very soon. Hey guys, thank you for watching, listening, streaming, or however you come across this video today. Be sure to click on the video on the right there to watch our next video, or click the bottom there to subscribe, or the bottom right hand corner. Thank you very much, and I'll speak to you again very soon.